Hi sport fans! Let's now start the second part of our learning series of compact videos with everything you need to know about Leeway. We try to keep it as concise as possible. Enjoy! In Leeway, every time an infraction happens in the offence field of the team who suffers the foul, this team has the right to a direct kick. If requested by the goalkeeper defending the kick, a man barrier can be placed 12 yards from the ball with as many players as desired by the goalkeeper. A direct kick always requires referee authorization. Look at the animation. If the foul happens on the defense field, an indirect kick will be warranted to the team who suffered the foul. The ball must be still, not rolling, and does not require referee authorization. Also, man barrier does not apply here. Of note, all stationary ball kick where the ball is not rolling are subject to the forward rule. In Leeway, goalkeepers have a special set of rules as they are unique in their function. These rules were set with two primary objectives in mind: safety and time efficiency of the sport. As for safety, because attack players cannot be positioned inside the 5-yard and in direct contact with the goalkeeper before any ball is launched towards the goal, because they will be offside and the play is void. This preserves and protects goalkeepers from prolonged physical contact against attackers. The other rule that protects goalkeepers is that they cannot leave the 15-yard area and play as an outfield player to cover or compensate for defenders' errors, or simply play as an additional outfield defender, all of which is fully allowed in football soccer. These are the two situations where goalkeepers are most frequently injured. As for time efficiency, goalkeepers are notorious for delaying game, and these are the rules that regulate their actions. They can only use hands on the ball inside the 5-yard area. Once holding the ball and standing, goalkeepers have 15 seconds to either put the ball on the ground and play with their feet, or alternatively simply throw the ball with their hands to a teammate. Also, once the ball is put on the ground by the goalkeeper, it cannot be picked up by hand anymore, even inside the 5-yard. When goalkeepers put the ball on the ground, they are indicating they chose to play with their feet on that play instead of using hands. In Leeway, the only situation where goalkeepers use their hands on the ball is when directly defending the goal and inside the 5-yard area. When the ball is in game and is returned to them by a teammate or an opponent, they cannot play with their hands because the ball is already on the ground. This combination of rules literally prevents or drastically reduces time wasting and running down the clock, commonly made by goalkeepers. Inside the 15-yard area, they cannot use hands on the ball. And outside the 15-yard area, they cannot make any contact with ball at all. If they do, the referee may either allow the play to continue and give advantage to the attacker, or alternatively, rule a direct kick with man barrier from the 15-yard line. Last, both goalkeepers and outfield players can make the frontal kick, and the ball must always cross the 15-yard line. The Leeway scoring is a two-tier system based on how much team participation happened in the actual execution of the goal. There are two types of goals. The most common goal is called the game goal, where the ball is in game, rolling and has been touched 2 or more times by any player, including the opponent, and enters the goal. As I said, this is by far the most common situation and accounts for nearly all goals. So the ruling of a goal as a game goal is based on an objective fact, which is the number of physical touches the ball received since is in game, rolling, and enters the goal. Of note, there are 3 neutral elements that are not considered in the count of physical touches on the ball: the referee, the goalposts, and the goalkeeper. None of their touches count toward ruling a goal as game goal or kick goal. They are neutral. In the animation above, you can see all those situations where the ball was in game, rolling, and was touched 2 or more times. This is as simple as that. The other type of goal is called kick goal. In the situations where a kick goal is scored, there is very limited team participation, as demonstrated by the low number of touches on the ball. 0 or 1 touch on the ball by any player, including an opponent, after the ball is in game, rolling, and enters the goal. So every kick goal must also start from a ball that is still, not rolling, not in game, such as a corner kick, direct kick, indirect kicks, side kick in, major penalty kick. Even a frontal kick by the goalkeeper can yield a kick goal. When the ball is sitting still, it is not in game, but once it is kicked, put in game, and if it is touched by only one player or not at all and enters the goal, it will be ruled as a kick goal. All these stationary ball kicks mentioned above can yield a kick goal as long as the ball is not touched at all or is touched only once. One is put in game and enters the goal. If the ball is touched 2 or more times by any player, including an opponent, this goal will be ruled as a game goal. So, as you can see, this is literally an exception goal, but surprisingly enough, many goals are actually scored this way. What all of these goals have in common is that there is very little team participation in the actual execution of the goal, and for this reason, it is worth only 1 point. So the bottom line is that in Leeway, contrary to what happens in football soccer, how the goal was scored plays a role and differentiate its worth in points. It is all about team participation. In Leeway, a goal scored with a major penalty kick or direct kick that enter the goal does not have the same worth in points as a goal where 3, 4, 5 players participated in the execution of the goal. A major penalty kick, also known as MPK, is awarded to a team who suffers a foul inside the 15-yard area of its attack field by the opponent team. The MPK is kicked from the 15-yard line. The ball is put on the line or outside of it, in a position chosen by the kicker. It cannot be inside the 15-yard area. The MPK must be authorized by the referee through a whistle. It typically yields 1 point, but if the goalkeeper or the goalpost rebound the ball and it is touched 2 or more times by any player, including opponent, and not the neutral elements, it may be ruled as a game goal worth 2 points. Typically, most MPK, if successful, yield only 1 point. Again, there is very little team participation in the execution of the goal itself. The offside rule in Leeway is based on the position of the attacker in relation to the field, not in relation to defenders as in football soccer. So what matters is where the attacker is. At the moment, the ball is launched to this attacker. An attacker outside the 5-yard area will never, under any circumstances, be considered in offside, even if the attacker later make contact with the ball inside the 5-yard. What matters is where the player is at the moment the ball is launched. Also, if there is any attacker in an offside position, even if do not directly take part in the play, the whole play will be voided as it is assumed that this player distracted, obstructed, or otherwise disturbed the whole play. So it does not matter where the ball is coming from, or if it is rolling or not. If the attacker is outside the 5-yard, this player is always legal. In the animation, it shows the various positions from where the ball may come from, and none of the players were offside, as they all were outside the 5-yard area. The offside rule for players inside the 5-yard. Very simple. Any player inside the 5-yard area, even if simply stepping on the 5-yard line, at the moment the ball is launched to this player, will be offside. Look at the animation. The player in black depicted is in offside position because he is inside the 5-yard area. But there is one single exception to this rule, which I'm going to show now. There is one exception for the 5-yard rule. If a player is inside the 5-yard area, at the moment the ball is launched to this player, and the ball itself is also inside the 5-yard area and rolling in-game, is being carried by another teammate and is launched to this player. In this case, there is no offside to the player receiving the ball. This is the only situation in which a player positioned inside the 5-yard will not be offside. In all other situations, a player inside the 5-yard at the time the ball is launched will be in offside position.